Hey everybody, today Rahdo rambles with his mom. Hi Mom!
Hi.
Hello. Hey everybody, this is my mother, Bobby Hart. She is reclining in her favorite chair in the world, and you folks have sent in a bunch of questions to ask, and I'm going to do that now. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, let's start out with Christy. Christy wants to know, let's see here. First question. This is an interesting one. I have no idea. If I had been a girl, what would my name have been? Christy wants to know.
Oh, interesting.
Had you thought about that, or?
No, we didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Because with the Ham lineage,
Yeah.
it was primarily boys.
Oh, so you were just assuming it was going to be a boy?
Sure, you were a boy.
Yeah.
And it would have been a real shocker.
Had you, I mean, I'm named after my dad, of course. Was that pre-planned, or did you figure it out? Yeah. It was just assumed I was going to be a boy, and I was. And it was just assumed I was going to be named after Dad, and I was.
Exactly.
All right, I had no idea. Okay, let's see. Christy notes that I claim to have been quite the introvert when I was a child. Is that true? Or, when I was home, in my comfort zone, was I maybe a bit more hyper and energetic like I come across now?
Not with the hyper and
no?
energetic, no.
Okay.
And a very determined child.
Yes.
However, you had your own specialities in that you would climb up into the favorite chair of everybody. And it was like you did not speak at an early age. Or
now you're talking like when I was less than 2 or something. Or,
yes.
Yeah.
You did not run around with any energy whatsoever. And we were quite becoming concerned about that.
Mm-hmm.
But then we figured out and realized what you were doing is you sat in that chair and then you pointed to the things that you want brought to you.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the rest of us brought it to you. Your other grandparents, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was how you operated.
I just directed everybody from my throne.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now I remember when we were in grade school, before we moved on the boat, I think I was actually a fairly outgoing kid, right? I think I was in sports and stuff like that. I kind of dimly remember. Or do you remember? I mean, I had friends and whatnot. But then, once I moved on the boat, that's when I kind of became more of a bookworm and all of that, would you say?
Yes. But you weren't that extroverted the other time either.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I would kind of like, and try to prompt you boys, that I bought skateboards.
Yeah.
So that you would actually do that and stuff. You didn't really like to do it of your skateboard, or Ryan of his skateboard, and so you guys would come and borrow my skateboard, which was a big, heavy one that said Big Mama across it, and you guys would only want to do my skateboard. And so you did not necessarily specialize.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay.
In particular energy.
I know you were telling me just the other day as we were driving into town that in high school, I had friends in high school, but they would call you up on the phone. Oh, no, they would come and knock on the door.
Yes.
And they would treat you very deferentially.
They would be very apologetic.
Yes.
Because they would say, Mrs. Ham, we're sorry to come right now without calling ahead. Mm-hmm. However, if we call Richard, he will tell us no, that we can't come. So we had a pool table, and they wanted to come and play pool and just be around you and do all kinds of cool things. You wouldn't let them in the door.
Yeah.
So I would let them in the door, and I would make cookies, and then everybody would just have a grand old time.
Yep.
And you would eventually, but not initially, you wouldn't even let them in.
I fought it.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah.
You're the people I hang out with at school.
Yeah, sort of.
Thing. Yeah. All right, Christy, there you go. So you would say, I mean, I read a lot too, right? I remember you used to say that I was missing my entire life or the entire world because my nose was in a book or whatnot. I mean, when we drive long distances, I just spent the whole time reading, never looking out the window. I know that was always something that kind of bugged you.
Well, right. And like when you were in school, even the earlier years when you started back to school, you would like walk down the hall when all the class changes and stuff. And you actually physically had the book in front of your face and would not be looking around and walking down the hall, missing everybody, but only reading until you got into the safety of the next classroom.
Yeah, and I just like to think I was ahead of my time, because now everybody does that with a phone in front of their face instead of a book. So there you go. All right, well, let's see. That's Christy's second question. Let's see. And I guess this is kind of a broad thing. What was it like raising me as a kid?
Okay, it was very interesting because we had the different background.
Sure.
And so we would go through different situations, like I tried to provide so that you would be able to do things even though we were under the limitations of building a boat and moving continually. But so you did have a motorcycle, a little motorcycle. Towards the end before we moved on the boat. And you and your brother would ride around in the yard underneath where the boat was being constructed. So that was one thing that you did sports-wise, but that was pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. And now, Christy changes the subject. What is your favorite game to play? There will be more game questions. But what is your favorite game to play?
Okay. I've had a lot of fun playing with my granddaughter with the Forbidden Island.
Forbidden Island, yes. Yeah.
Because we think that the little markers are just beautiful. And the granddaughter loves the markers. Yeah. And she loves to make the islands in her own style and design. So she will just spend a lot of time making islands. And then we play the game, and I kind of like just adjust it to an age level. Sure. So that's our favorite one.
Now, when we were growing up, we played board games, right?
Yes. Well, I tried to get you as far as to get you pried out of the bedroom and doing whatever other things. But I introduced you to the game of life. Okay. Because I just wanted you to try and have some experiences that were considered a little more normal in the world
than
versus our background of living on a boat and being so just isolated.
The homeschooling and all of that. Yeah. Okay. I remember when we were younger, before we moved on the boat, did we play Scrabble or Yahtzee? I remember I played Monopoly a lot with my aunt and uncle, Jim and Darlene. Yes. But did we play?
I would try to get us to play as a family all together. But your dad would refuse to play because your dad was ultimately what kind of reflected in you a bit, in that he didn't want to play because if he lost, he would be very angry. Okay. And so he did not want to lose, so eventually he would not play with us. Yeah. So that was our gaming, was you guys playing with me. Yeah. And just that sort of thing.
Are you saying I was a sore loser?
We'll get to that part probably. Okay. Yes, because if you speak to your aunt or uncle, you would get very mad. And there have been reported stories that actually, in order to win, there was a certain amount of you using your brilliant mental capacities to kind of sneak it around so you were going to win no matter what.
Skirt the rules a little bit. Yeah. I still to this day hear about that from Darlene, how they couldn't trust me in Monopoly or whatever.
Exactly, because you were also determined to win at no cost.
At all costs. At any cost. Yes.
That was it.
Okay. Let's see here. Well, actually, let's move on to Scott, because that leads perfectly into his questions, because he mentions he has cherished memories of beating his grandfather in chess for the first time and beating his grandmother in Scrabble. Do you remember the first time I beat you at a game?
It was always a given.
Oh, really?
It was just going to happen. And so it was only a matter of us kind of like playing the game and following it through and going all the way to the end. Yeah. And it was going to happen.
That I was going to win? It was just preordained?
Well, that's
because I was a cheater?
Like. Well, just because you were going to win. That you were a very determined child. And that's what was going to happen. So we knew it, but
okay.
we still played.
All right. Okay. Well, that is very interesting. All right. Let's see here. So, moving on to Philippa, she also wants to know, what are your favorite games? So you mentioned now, really about the only modern game you've played is Forbidden Island.
Yes,
because you played with Savannah. Did you ever can you think of any other games you've really enjoyed at any point in your life, or growing up, or whatever?
No, I was so busy in building the boat and all that kind of stuff, raising you guys, that I never got into the gaming very much, only as support for you guys doing it, and to enhance your skill at being able to do that, and hopefully do it with other people like my aunt and uncle, that sort of thing. So I have time more now that I look as being retired, that I'm going to be able to take that up.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that.
We're going to be trying. Yeah, once we get settled down, I'll be trying to introduce you to more games. What about growing up as a young girl yourself?
We played a game called Rahdo.
Rahdo.
My family. And so it was a very nightly game because we did not have a TV or anything like that. So the Rahdo was just a numbers alignment game. And we played that. We did not play Monopoly much. It went on too long.
Yeah.
And then our pieces would get lost and stuff like that. So primarily we played Rahdo.
Yeah, so you were a big Rahdo fan, you're saying?
Yes.
I mean, did you like it, or was it just what you guys did?
Yeah, it was doable by every member of the family.
Yeah.
Whereas even younger ones. So if you get too much of a game that's too hard, then the others who are more competent, it kind of weighs on the younger ones.
Yeah, we're in the middle right now of cleaning up Mom's house. You can't see, there's a big mess around us. We tried to clean up this little area for the filming, to get ready to move down south with her. And actually, just the other day, I did find a copy of Rahdo.
Yes.
That's not the one from all the way back in the 40s and 50s?
No, but it is the game that I had picked up, actually at a used store one time, in order to replace it, so I could play it with the grandkids.
Ah, okay. Cool. Well, we will definitely have to try that. I don't know anything about it other than what you just said. Alrighty, let's see. Right, and Philippa is continuing on, what's your relationship with board games? I think we've kind of talked about that a little bit. Do you really enjoy playing, or something you like to play just to play with the kids? Let's see. So we kind of talked about that a little bit, I think.
One of the things that as you were growing and developing, and we had the game of life sort of thing, and your dad wouldn't play with us because he would just go into a blind rage because he couldn't win. So we got over that part. Was that once got the computer, all those TIs.
Yeah, the TI 9948, yeah.
Right. But then discovered the Dungeons and Dragons. And I was so impressed with that, because then the person was able to make their own choices, but they had consequences and stuff like that. So to me, when we were in an isolated situation, and you guys were not interfacing more with other kids or anything, you could do that with the game level. Yeah. So I was very impressed by the Dungeons and Dragons, that you were able to pull out what you could out of it, and it developed. Oh, I remember,
I was really addicted to it. But what I remember, this was when we were living on the boat, probably in Owl Harbor, maybe Islands Marina in Central California, was that I had all the stuff, I had all the books, and I would spend hours and hours, designing dungeons and making characters and reading all kinds of things and using my imagination a lot. But I don't really remember playing much. I do remember one time we sat down and I was going to be the dungeon master, and we were trying to do an adventure, you, me, and Ryan, my little brother. And I still remember this very clearly. You kept trying to be very imaginative and creative with your problem solving, and just kind of like, but I don't know what to do with that, Mom. You're just supposed to say what you're going to hit the monster with or whatever. And it was like, ah! And of course, I think you were playing in the spirit of the game, and I was just, because I didn't really have any experience, I was just like, could you just kind of stick to the script here, or kind of thing. And also because you wanted to win. So if you put those elementary steps into it, you could win that way. Whereas Ryan and I then couldn't win that way, because
you were kind of like taking that determination again and broadening it to fit your skills, not our skills, which were appreciably less than your skill.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And I think you also used it then too, and I encouraged that, was for your drawing.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
That was a very big thing for me. I wanted you guys to be able to learn to draw, to letter, all that kind of stuff that people I didn't see and growing up and stuff, that they had those skills that were enhanced with them. So you guys both were extreme good drawers. And,
I remember drawing lots of dragon pictures and stuff like that. Yeah.
And so that did that. So in my mind, it was a little bit, that was playing the game a little bit. Because you would be drawing a certain part and you would be making up your own storyline.
Yeah.
And Ryan would be making up his own storyline. So I thought that was outstanding.
Okay. Next question from Philippa. Do you watch any of my videos? Do you watch my show? I don't think so.
I have seen it several times.
Okay.
But I have been limited with the computer.
Right, yeah.
That I have not been able to see it over the last, I would say, year and a half since you were here before.
Well, what did you think of it?
Oh, I enjoyed it tremendously.
Really?
And that one game when you guys were at the gaming show.
Hey.
And
somebody's calling. We'll be right back, everybody. Hold on. All right, let's see. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, let's see. So we were just talking about, so you have watched my videos, and you were saying you like it?
There was one particular, you were on a panel with some other people, and that was the first that I had seen of anything like that. And that was just over the top for me. As a mom, I just was like, yay, wow, this is so cool. Look what he can talk in front of people, and they're having a great time.
Were you surprised I can talk in front of people? I mean, because I did all that, the theater in high school and stuff.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I knew that you could, that once you made it through the theater.
Yeah.
And through school and stuff, too. So all of that was, but it was just, because I hadn't seen the gaming industry, I didn't know it existed. Or anything like that. To see you in a lineup with other people like that was cool.
All right. Let's see. And final question from Philippa. How do you feel about your son being a star? And then they put a smiley face, because I'm not really a star. I'm just like I'm kind of popular in a very, very small niche hobby, but still, that's her question. What do you think about me being a star?
I think it's cool. I think it just doesn't get any cooler than that.
Okay.
Absolutely great.
All right. Moving on then. Natalie wants to know, what did you do for a living?
Okay, I did I did some healthcare for people. I did my last job was.
Oh, they're calling back. I have no idea what's going on, folks. But anyway, so your most recent thing, you were just saying, your most recent job was.
I would say that after your dad retired and stuff like that, and so he was kind of bored, and so he wanted something to do, but he said he didn't know what to do. So what did I want to do? And I said I wanted to go truck driving because I wanted to see the United States.
Right.
And I knew that we didn't have necessarily a financial base or whatever to do it. But to me, driving a semi was just like driving a big fat motorhome.
Yeah, sure.
And so I saw the whole United States that way and had all kinds of adventures. Of that I just adored. He hated it, but I
because he just wanted to stay home.
But I just loved every minute of it. So I would say that was my highlight job.
Yeah, and because you guys were like tag teaming it. I mean, one would sleep in the cab while the other one was driving and back and forth, and so you drove from one side of the country to the other several times. I mean, you did it for a couple of years, right?
For over a year.
Yeah.
And so then. But like I said, he didn't want to do it anymore. But then he did turn around, and he did it with your brother.
Right.
And they did it for a bit longer. So.
Okay. Let's see. What did you do when your family was out on those boat trips that I talked about? Now, of course, they weren't boat trips. I think now there's no chance. I kind of grew up on a boat. what was it? I think we moved onto the boat maybe when I was 8, and I think we moved off when I was 14 or something like that. Something like that. We were on there for 5, 6, 7 years. What were you doing then while we were on the boat?
Okay, I was like
living full time.
Helping with the construction of it.
That's true.
To a degree. I did everything, grinding, sanding of the metal boat and everything, except for the welding. I did not know how to weld. But that as it progressed and we were on it longer and moving to different places, Sausalito out of San Francisco and the Napa Valley and stuff, we took scuba lessons.
Yes.
And
you and me.
Yes, at that time, you were a fairly you were a big kid. You were just large and tall and very just a big kid. So they allowed you, and it was only a special allowing to be able to take the scuba lessons. That normally at that time they did not teach children,
right?
Or they did not allow it, and so they did allow you to do it. So we would drive down to Sausalito.
Yeah, or Vallejo, right?
Vallejo.
Yeah.
Well, Sausalito.
Okay.
And so then we took scuba lessons, and then we culminated the class by going out and getting our certificate and stuff like that. And we had a very interesting situation in that we were coming back through the kelp beds.
This was our final dive, our final certification dive.
Yeah, certification dive. And we were coming back through the kelp beds, and your mask and your
my regulator,
regulator got tangled up in the seaweed, and so it pulled it out, and you had no air to breathe or anything. So we had to do the super duper, where one person gives it to the other and passes it back.
Yeah, for real. We practiced it a lot, but I mean, I could have drowned.
Yeah. We really had to do it. Or you could have also...
You saved my life, Mom.
Also, you could have, because you were substantially very strong, it would have impinged back for us not to be able to, make it, because if you had, like, grabbed onto me or not given the regulator back to me, it was kind of a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
But the thing was, you regained your... composure and then you got your regulator, we got your regulator back in and everything, and so we went on with the dive, completed, and got our certificate. And so that was one of the things on the boat that was very, very wonderful to me, that happened because of your brother and you two. We had like little dinghies, and we learned to sail. You would go on the marina, and sometimes people would hire you to go in the water and go through all the skunky mud.
Because they dropped their keys or something like that.
Because they dropped something like that, and you would help them find it. And I worked at the marina because there was electronics and stuff like that. I did that kind of stuff. And so,
you were, I mean, it was at, I think that was at Owl Harbor, right? That they had some kind of side business?
Yes, they did.
Repairing electronics or something like that?
They had designed, and they were manufacturing camera testing equipment for automotive cameras at that time. So I did all the circuitry, the circuit boards. I did machining of making the little blocks and everything that went in there. I assembled them and then shipped them out. Oh,
I had no idea. I just remember you spending hours in that little room. And all I ever saw you doing was soldering, I think. Or at least all I understood you were doing was just soldering and soldering.
And then I ran the marina when the owner loved to take ocean trips and go around the world or go down to Machu Picchu and stuff like that. So I ran the marina during those times.
Is it because you were running the thing that they actually allowed me to be the garbage man for the marina?
Yes.
And drive around in that old, like, 1940s truck that had an ignition on the floor?
Yes.
Even though I was only, like, 11 or 12 years old?
Right.
Yep. So...
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I remember it was particularly funny the one time I went off the levee and almost went into the water. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So those were some of the things that were really that we did.
Yeah.
That were kind of outstanding. And so we never would have had that type of situation if we had not lived on the boat. And one of the things to me, so people ask me about, well, what was it really like and stuff like that. And it's not the kind of like romantic idea you have that, oh, everything's peachy keen. And I mean, there's so much involved. Like your food, and you have to learn that if you're out in the middle of the ocean and something happens to you, you've got to do your own repairs of your arm or, you know, stuff like that. So there's all of that. And, but it was very good, I think, in lots of ways for you guys, because you did things that, you know, you normally wouldn't have been.
We had a very different childhood. That's definitely true.
Right. And so what I break it down to people is it was so pleasant in some ways because you were right there with nature too. The birds would come and all kinds of stuff. We were right there. That it's the closest of living with nature without living in a tent.
Sure.
And living in a tent's not cool. So, but that was cool.
Okay. Very good answer. All right, moving on. Stacy wonders, honestly, I don't know the answer to this at all. Maybe you'll remember. How did I introduce you to Jen? Well, obviously, I met her in college, and at some point, I must have brought her over. I mean, at that point, I remember I was still kind of making like bi-weekly trips all the way driving from Seattle over here to Belfair to so I could do my laundry here and stuff like that.
Right.
Did I bring her along at some point? I mean, when did you meet her? You must have. I mean, you've met her.
Right. And I don't know why exactly, because we've done so many different things together and stuff that I don't know. I think that would be a good question for Jen.
Yeah. Honey, do you remember?
I don't. I was just thinking about it. I don't remember.
Yeah, Jen's in the other room right now working on the computer, and she says she doesn't remember either. So it just happened one day.
Well, there were lots of things in the house that your dad could help them do. And I think maybe too, because you guys, the pool table got passed down to you guys.
Yeah.
And you would invite us over there.
Yeah.
And we would play pool, and Jen would make healthy pizzas and stuff like that. So it may have been for an interaction, a social.
Well, no, because I think that was when we were in Burien, and I think we were already married by then. I mean, we lived together for a couple of years and then got married. I know you were at our wedding.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I don't remember at all. It just must have been.
I don't remember the part of the meeting.
Yeah. Sorry, Stacy.
For a car repair or something.
Jen is guessing it might be that maybe I brought her over so the dad could work on her car.
Ah.
Because my dad was a car wizard.
Yes.
Yeah, he could fix any car. All right, well, we'll go with that. All right. Stacy, you stumped us. You stumped us all. All righty. Oliver wonders, how did you cope with me and Jen moving to Europe and leaving the United States behind? What was it?
I thought it was kind of cool myself that when I was younger, I had hoped to be an airline stewardess, so I would have flown all over the world and seen the whole world. So what you guys were out there doing was like, but that I had never been able to do it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Okay. Cool.
And I would have gone over there. But
your
it
health
didn't
issues,
work out.
Yeah. How crazy do you think it is that I professionally went into games? First of all, making video games, and now doing videos about board games. What do you think about my job?
I think that's cool too. That it's so much mental stimulation for people, and I believe it's mental stimulation in most cases in a very good way.
Yeah.
For people. So I like to see and I like to hear of families interacting, or like when you talk about if there's a game and when people have come here to play the games and stuff like that. I just delight in seeing that kind of very good, wonderful reactions within people to be able to do stuff like that.
Okay. So you're pro gaming.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Anthony says, a couple of podcasts ago I mentioned, we were looking at different places. We were thinking about Arizona, and one of the reasons we were thinking about Arizona is because you had mentioned that if you could finally live in a warm climate again, like we did for all those years in California, that you would want to grow okra. Because who likes okra? My mom loves okra. He's asking, what else besides okra would you want to grow and plant?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes, all right.
Zucchinis.
Zucchini.
Oh, there's just so many wonderful vegetables.
Yeah.
That it is cool.
Okay.
And I used to, as a child, my uncle and aunt had a garden.
Yeah.
And so we would go out there and we would pick the tomato worms off the tomato plants in order to, so they wouldn't eat all the stuff. But you're able to go out there and eat an ear of corn off of a corn plant.
Right, off the stalk, yeah.
Yeah, and so all of that to me is just really, really cool.
Okay.
And that ability to grow things is something that I think people need to have more ability to do, so that they would keep food production up instead of putting too much energy other places and not having enough food for people.
Well, Jen is looking into trying to set up a greenhouse for when we move into the new place. So you're planning on some tomatoes, zucchini, and okra then?
Yes.
All right, that's the plan. Same kind of question. What are you most looking forward to living with me and Jen? I mean, obviously, we're all living together right now here, but there's nothing much to look forward to here because it's all crazy time trying to get the place taken care of and sold and all that. But so, what are you looking forward to when we get down south?
I really like to. It's kind of like, to me, it's fun to be around your involvement in the gaming, and even though I'm not doing the involvement part, it's still a real big plus to me.
Yeah.
Jen's glasswork and the beautiful things she's able to make and has made in the past. I love to see that and to do that. And she has such a beautiful workshop that it's going to be fun. Well, the other day I went up there and just sat up there.
Yeah.
I moved furniture around and sat there because it's such a pleasant area that you can look out over the mountains and the trees and all that. It's just beautiful.
Okay. You want to start making some glass yourself? You want to get in front of the torch?
I made a little bit of glass before when your dad was doing it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I would.
When Dad was making glass?
Well, yeah, he made a couple of kits in that where you do this stained glass and it's like the things are
okay.
cut,
Yeah.
And you kind of like solder it together.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I enjoy soldering a lot because of my background with making the machines and things.
The electronics, yeah.
Yeah, but I probably wouldn't want to do it necessarily.
Okay.
It's just kind of one of the things I've moved on.
Do you want to appear in more of these videos?
Hi, people.
You're doing great, Mom.
That's okay, but I will be watching more because now you have me hooked up and I'll be able to see it. Yeah. Whereas before, I wasn't able to see it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. How often would you prefer to play games? Every day, every other day, once a week, or once a year?
I don't know. I haven't got into playing the games that much other than with the grandkids.
Yeah.
So when there was guests we had come here playing when Jen was back one time, and they invited me to play. Yeah. And they invited later on for to come and for me to play with them again.
Yeah. Oh.
And for me to go with Jen to play at their house. And so maybe someday I would like to play a game or two here around the edges.
Okie doke. All right. Anthony is jumping all over the place. What is your favorite dog breed?
Yeah. I got so many that I like. That I had a little terrier that was Jack Russell and half terrier.
Yeah.
That was extremely fun. I'm to the point now physically that I would pick a smaller dog. Yeah. That I can just pick up. And if something's happening in the dog world, I have control over keeping the dog safe. Yeah. And so it would be a small, type-ish dog like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. So, he's asking questions I think we've hit before. Moving on. Let's see. You've already asked what I was like as a young boy. What did you think of me playing so many video games as a boy? Because I played a lot of video games.
Yeah. As did your brother with you. And we would come back from having done laundry or done whatever, grocery shopping or something, and we would be coming back to the boat, and you guys would be down in your bunks and stuff.
Yeah.
And you would come up to the doorway, and you would be waving your sheets of paper and saying, I won 7,365,000 Pac-Mans or whatever it was at the time. And so I just think it's neat to have the video games.
Yeah.
It's there again. To me, I view some, it's a little more interactive than some of the just electronic stuff where a person's sitting over there on their phone or whatever, just in their own little world.
Yeah.
But, I mean, here you guys were so proud of what you'd done with these. And you were showing us. And then you wanted to send them off to some...
She's talking about, on the old Atari 2600, games from Activision, you could take a picture if you hit certain score thresholds and mail in proof that you'd done this, and then they would send you a patch.
Yeah.
Like as a missile commander or chopper commander or things like that. Yeah, I was kind of addicted to those.
Yeah. And I think it was a good thing because you were in an environment where you weren't around a lot of other kids or stuff going on.
Right.
That you were interactive with others. Mm-hmm. And so, therefore, that provided that for you.
Okay. Alrighty. What was your first impression of Jen? Now, we've already kind of we have no idea what your first impression of Jen was, so let's change it to, what was your early impression of Jen?
I just liked Jen from the beginning.
Right from the get-go?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay.
She has an ease ability to be around other people and to make them feel welcome and to make them feel included. That's why it was fun when those people came to play the games. Oh, and they were just having such a great time. Mm-hmm. It was like everybody was so excited. Here was Jen from Malta. And, well, we wish Richard could be here, but you weren't here. So everybody was just thrilled. And it's Jen does that, carries that off to make people feel just so included and so sort of like wanted, just enjoyed.
Cool. I'm sure she's listening in the background and is smiling ear to ear to hear that. She just said tee in the background. What is your favorite glass artwork of Jen's, if you could think of one?
Well, I was kind of looking at those other pieces.
Yeah. And are you okay, or do you need to take a little bit of a break?
No, that's okay.
Okay, all right.
I couldn't see, there was supposed to be a third video we were going to maybe watch later.
Oh, right. Oh.
About that.
About her, how she makes glass,
About how she makes glass. Because I like the gaming pieces. Mm-hmm. Because I can see the colors going around in them, and I like to see the little top being manufactured on top of them. But I'm not quite sure. I want to see the third video.
All right.
And like that. But I do think the gaming pieces are extraordinarily pretty.
Okay.
And the monsters are just kind of funny. I'm not going to put them in the pretty category.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see. When I started working at Nintendo, did you know what Nintendo was? Because I don't think we had a Nintendo game system. We had the Ataris back when we lived on the boat. And then, did we? Maybe we did have a Nintendo when I was in high school. Yeah, that's right, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, yeah, and some of my friends, they had a Genesis, and I was so jealous, and we just had a Nintendo. And we would rent games down at Bob's General Store, which was the closest place we could get them. So you knew what Nintendo was. What did you think of me getting a job at Nintendo?
I thought it was cool. Mm-hmm. There again, I thought it was a good outlet for people, for kids.
Yeah.
To have that. And because we don't have necessarily the things they used to have in the old days, like they could work at the corner gas station or all that kind of stuff is gone. Mm-hmm. And so they don't have those outlets, but the gaming kind of fills that sort of thing in my mind. And I have another friend that also worked there as a gamer to help people.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Dad did that. And so I just think it's really good. And I think it helps people to learn to communicate better and to maybe sometimes, in some cases, have a little more patience when they have to work with somebody who's trying to work with them back. Okay. It's a special interaction that doesn't always occur nowadays.
Yeah, I remember at some point within the last 20 years, you and Dad for Christmas or my birthday or something gave me a framed picture of that old Far Side cartoon called Proud Parents, and it was just two parents looking at a little kid playing video games, and they had dreams in their heads of like want ads saying, "Can you save the princess and slay the dragon? Big money!" and stuff like that. And I know you always get a kick out of it. I basically fulfilled that Far Side cartoon from a million years ago. Let's see. What did you think of me being a mailman? Because remember, I did that for a couple of years too when I was in college, and after as well. What did you think of me being a mailman?
The area that you were delivering mail in is one of my favorite areas in Seattle.
The University District?
Around those businesses around the water.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
And anytime I had been in those businesses or about more complex boating things and stuff like that, I always enjoyed them.
Yeah.
So I figured, hey, you're going in there every day and getting paid for it.
That's true, yeah. I mean, that was one of my favorite stops, was the wooden boat shop in Seattle.
Yeah.
Delivering mail there and just being surrounded by, big, beautiful boats.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. What era would you love to play a game set in? I mean, is there any era of history that you're interested in that you would like to see a game about?
I'm thinking about that because I think then it would be cool for persons to make some of their own games. I mean, you have the pre-games, and I haven't seen that many of them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start looking at some of them, and then I think it would be very creative and very neat for a person to develop their own game.
Okay. All right.
And so I would, like if you were to do a game, I don't have the background for it or whatever, but I still would develop a favorite era or whatever, and that would be fun to do that.
All right.
Because you can do things on a board game that you can't necessarily do in real life.
Sure.
And that's what makes it possible, the wonder of it.
Okay. All right. Good answer. What, again, this, who was it? This was Anthony. He's just jumping all over the place from question to question. What was the most embarrassing thing I did as a boy? Either embarrassing for me or embarrassing for you? Did I never embarrass you?
You stumped me. No, of course. How many times do parents embarrass the kids?
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
You just can't stop one way or the other. So there's always that going on. But it's part of learning to have the interaction, and it's part of, to me, life. Of how you do it, and then how you're doing it teaches your kids how to do it with their kids. So that just makes it special. And it's, so what if it's embarrassing for 15 minutes? It's more special that your kid is going to have this maybe for a period of time in their life, and it's going to help their development later on.
All right. Sorry, Anthony, you don't get any dirt on me. Mom is not forthcoming.
Oh, I was supposed to go for the dirt.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it.
I mean, I remember I flipped the boat here at Trails End Lake.
Right.
But that wasn't embarrassing. That was just I flipped the boat.
Right.
Yeah, all right. Okay. I was a perfect son. Go figure. Let's see.
And he didn't lose in the games either.
What type of game would you like me to design for you?
Oh, okay. See, that follows that other question.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So I'll get back to them about that because I want to decide what era.
Okay, you're still on that.
That's a fascinating question to me.
Okay.
For anybody, what era would you like to create to make a game for?
All right. Moving on. Yawn. Let's see. Oh, this is kind of a repeat from earlier. What do you think about my current occupation? And do you have any idea how popular I am by the rest of the planet? I think Jan's kind of, Jan, you're stretching it, buddy. I'm not very popular by the rest of the planet, but certainly within the board game industry, I'm pretty well known.
I don't know. I kind of got whacked with that one when I saw you on the panel.
Yeah.
With the other people.
Yeah, you were mentioning
that. That was a major wake up for me. So if you remember, I plied you with questions. Yeah, well, do you do this and whatever and this and that and stuff like that? A lot of questioning going on. But that's kind of like, I was just kind of shocked by that had been developed through people over the years and across the world.
Yeah, it's true.
The other countries.
Well, Jan here, the questioner, he is from Europe as well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Pete is interested to know if you prefer me, if my mom prefers me, so if you prefer me playing video games or board games. I guess that's kind of a, what do you think's better, video games or board games?
I haven't seen the video games for a long time.
Yeah.
I've only seen a little parcel of advertisement for them. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of shocked how violent they've gone.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily like the violence that much. And the violence to women and the violence to just general overall. So I would have to put them aside.
Yeah.
And
but what about growing up? Growing up, obviously, I played a lot of video games, and I played a fair number of board games. What do you think was better for me playing growing up? I think maybe that's kind of what Pete's underlying question is.
Okay. I don't know. You based your whole financial whatever from the video industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I cannot say that did not benefit you. Mm-hmm. And I can put it in that vein. Okay. But now to be able to go on to the board games and to have that creativity, I think is kind of special.
Okay. Cool. Zenik wonders, let's see, what board games did you like? Oh, I think we did this right off the bat. What board games did we play growing up? Let's see. And, have you been to any board game conventions? Of course, no. Do you want to go to a board game convention?
I was curious to see, I've asked you some questions.
Yeah.
You and Jen about the different questions and stuff. I probably at this point would not be trying to take a trip to a board game convention. I would maybe just like to, with one of your friends, like when they came over here for a game, maybe just kind of sit in on that or participate first.
Okay.
And some baby steps or something, that the participation on the other level before I just faced a whole mob of people. I'm not too much the mobs of people.
No. It takes a bit of getting used to. All right, last Joy and Jim have a few questions. And again, this is going to be kind of the same sort of thing. Can you tell them your favorite story about me? If you have any.
Okay, you should have prompted me on that question, because I've been thinking about this, and I could have thought of stuff like that. So that would have been fun to think about ahead. It just, your determination, your ability to get through something, my favorite is like how you interact with people and you are able to communicate. That class that when you first went to the University of Washington, and you were going to take like technical writing,
yes,
or you were going to take advanced communication, and we don't have that in the world. I mean, some people won't even put their tickers on in their car, so the communication is just not there. That skill you have, and that ability, I would just like to see broaden out so that people could do that, and that's kind of, I think, my favorite.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. This is a little late. Are you excited about me and Jen moving back? Of course, you already have, but were you excited? Are you excited? Answer, yes.
Yes. And I'm just like walking around asking other people, well, wasn't this person excited about you work? Well, no, they weren't as excited. And I'm thinking, but I was really excited. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. And again, this is kind of after the fact, what is the first thing you're going to do with me and Jen when we get back to the U.S.? I think maybe Joy and Jim didn't realize we were going to do this for face-to-face. So let's change that a little bit. What was the first thing we all did when Jen and I got here?
We've been so busy and so involved in the thinking through and the moving process and going down to the house and being able to see it.
Yep, I was going to say,
was major.
That was literally, I think, we got here on a Thursday night or a Friday night, or I forget which day, and then the following Monday, we all got in the car and drove down to southern Washington to look at the house that we picked out.
Right, and that was
so that was like a day-long road trip there and back. So really, the first thing we all did was we went to the bakery and had some fritters. That's really the first thing we did, to my way of thinking.
Well, no, we looked at the house.
Yes, there was that
kind of
too.
stuff. So that's to me.
That was a big one. Yeah, that was a big trip. Alrighty, and last question, just another random one, just out of left field. What was my favorite food growing up? I honestly don't know.
Wheels.
Yes, Jen remembered.
Jen just called in from off screen. Wheels. Would you like to tell people what wheels are?
It's like macaroni, but the macaronis that are specialty shaped like little wheels.
Little wagon wheels,
circles
yeah.
with little spokes in them.
Yeah.
And then you put tomato soup in it.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's wheels.
Well, there's hamburger. I think.
Yeah, and a hamburger.
Yeah,
if you're right.
Yeah.
You remembered the hamburger.
Yeah.
Yes. And Jen is correct. That was your favorite food.
Yep.
Everybody's favorite.
We're having wheels.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all about the wheels.
All right, folks, we're going to end then on wheels. That was a quick Rahdo Ramble Q&A with my mom, Bobby Hart. You have a good time, Mom? Does it work out okay? All right, yeah, it worked out pretty well, I think. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll bring you another Ramble next month. Have a nice day. Talk to you later. Mom, say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.